Stop for a second. Look at the ground under your feet. The Sumerians, the civilization that invented writing, that built the first cities, that gave the world its first legal codes and its first star charts, believed that beneath the surface you are standing on right now, the earth does not simply stop, it descends through layers, 9 of them, each one with a specific name, each one with specific inhabitants, each one described in the tablets with the same technical precision the Sumerians used for everything else they documented. They were not describing mythology. They were not describing their fears. They were doing what they always did. They were mapping a territory. Describing what they believed was actually there, in the most durable material available to them. The map has been sitting in museums across 3 continents for over 100 years. The scholar who produced the most complete modern analysis of it, Wayne Horowitz of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, in his 1998 monograph Mesopotamian Cosmic Geography, spent his entire academic career reconstructing what the Sumerians believed was beneath the earth, layer by layer, from the original cuneiform texts. What he found is specific, detailed, and in several places, genuinely difficult to explain. This is what the tablets say is below us. Before we go through the levels, you need to understand how the Sumerians thought about the structure of the universe, because they did not think about it the way we do. We think of the universe as mostly empty space with objects scattered through it. The Sumerians thought of it as solid, layered, like a stack of plates. Each layer separate from the one above and below it, but connected by specific passageways, specific gates, specific mechanisms that allowed beings and forces to move between them. The scholar Wayne Horowitz, working from the full corpus of Sumerian and Akkadian cosmological texts, documented what he called the Mesopotamian view of the universe. He describes it as a series of superimposed levels separated by open space, from the highest heaven of Anu at the top, through the middle heavens, through the visible sky, through the earth's surface, and then downward through multiple layers below. The downward layers are the ones the popular accounts almost never describe correctly, and they are the most specific part of the entire Sumerian cosmological framework. The key text for understanding the levels is a Neo-Assyrian tablet, catalogued as Car 307 in the Keilschrift Texti aus Assur Religiosen Inhalts, a collection of religious texts from Assur now held in Berlin. This tablet, along with a companion text catalogued as AO 8196, gives the most systematic surviving description of the layered cosmos and was the primary source for Horowitz's analysis of the downward levels. When Horowitz published Mesopotamian Cosmic Geography in 1998, these 2 tablets were central to everything he reconstructed. The universe they describe has 3 levels above the earth, and then it has layers below it that go down in specific sequence, each with specific inhabitants, each with a specific name, each with a specific function in the cosmic architecture. Here is what is below you. The first level below the surface is one that most people think of as being on the earth, not beneath it. The Sumerians called it the Apsu, the subterranean freshwater ocean, the underground water system that fed every spring, every well, every river that rose from the earth's interior. The Apsu is Enki's domain. His house, the Apsu, the house of the deep, is described in the Sumerian hymns as located here, beneath the earth's surface, above the realm of the dead. The tablets are specific about its location, not at the bottom of the sea, not in a distant cosmic ocean. Below the ground, accessible from above through the springs and waterways that connect it to the surface. The Apsu is not the underworld. This is a distinction the Sumerians maintained carefully across their texts. The Apsu is alive. It is the source of fresh water, of fertility, of the knowledge that Enki holds. It is the layer between the world of the living and the world of the dead. The connective tissue between what happens on the surface and what lies further below. The inhabitants of the Apsu are not the dead. They are the sages, the Apkallu, the half-fish, half-human beings created by Enki, who transmitted divine knowledge to the antediluvian kings before the flood. The Apkallu were withdrawn back to the Apsu after the flood. The tablets say they are still there, in the layer directly below the ground you stand on, in Enki's domain, holding the knowledge they were not permitted to transmit after the reset. Below the Apsu, the character of the cosmos changes entirely. The second level is the boundary. The Sumerians called it the Kigal, the Great Earth, not the surface earth where humans live. The deep earth, the understructure, the foundation of the world. It is described in cosmological texts as a vast compressed structure, the weight of the world above pressing down, the realm of the dead pressing up. The boundary layer between the living underground water and the dead realm below. The Kigal is not populated in any significant way in the surviving texts. It is a structural layer, a threshold, a material fact about the cosmos rather than a place where beings reside. But it matters because it marks the absolute transition. Above the Kigal, the Apsu, the freshwater, the sages, the connective tissue of the living world. Below the Kigal, the land of no return. The boundary has a name because the Sumerians did not describe the underworld as simply beginning underground. They described it as beginning at a specific structural layer, accessible only through specific gates, and sealed from the world above by this compressed deep earth foundation. Below the Kigal is where the structure of the underworld begins. And the underworld is not a single place in the Sumerian framework. It is an architecture. The word the Sumerians used most commonly for the underworld is Kur. The cuneiform sign for Kur is a pictograph of a mountain. This is not accidental. The Sumerians placed the underworld at the base of a great mountain, the cosmic mountain that forms the structural foundation of the world. The underworld is beneath the mountain. The mountain is beneath the earth. Kur has a wall. It has gates. And the first of those gates, the third level down from the surface, is called Ganzir. The Descent of Inanna, one of the most completely preserved Sumerian literary texts, describes Ganzir in specific terms. It is the entrance. The first of the 7 gates the descending soul must pass through. Its gatekeeper is Neti, the same gatekeeper described across multiple independent texts from multiple dig sites with the same characteristics. Tall, formal, operating under rules that predate the current divine hierarchy. Ganzir is not simply a door. In some texts, it is used as a name for the entire underworld palace, the structure that Ereshkigal rules from. The word means, in Sumerian, something like the locking place, the sealed entrance. It is the point at which the living world closes behind you. The tablets describe what happens at Ganzir with a specificity that functions less like mythology and more like a procedure manual. Before Neti opens the gate, he goes to Ereshkigal. He reports the arrival. He receives instructions. He returns and delivers the conditions. Only then does the gate open. And then it seals behind the one who enters. This is the third level. The first gate. The beginning of the structure that goes deeper. Levels 4 through 9 are inside the wall that Ganzir seals. The Descent of Inanna describes 7 inner gates, 7 thresholds that must be passed, each one removing something from the descending figure. The 7 thresholds are not metaphorical. They are structural features of the underworld architecture, described with the same technical language the Sumerians used for the gates of their own cities. Most scholarship treats the 7 gates as a single continuous sequence without distinguishing what each level specifically contains. But when you read the descent of Inanna, the Nergal and Ereshkigal myth, the death of Ur-Nammu, and the ghost texts together, as Wayne Horowitz did in Mesopotamian Cosmic Geography, a picture of differentiated levels emerges. The outer levels, the first few gates, are where the newly arrived dead are processed. The Gala demons that the tablets describe as dragging souls to the underworld operate here. The Gala are described in multiple texts with specific characteristics. They eat no bread. They drink no water. They accept no offerings. They cannot be bribed or appealed to. They are not malevolent in a human sense. They are functional. They perform the processing function of the outer underworld with the same indifference that a river performs its function. The tablets describing the Gala are some of the most specific in the entire underworld corpus. They appear in lists. They have named types. The Sumerian ghost texts, the therapeutic incantation texts recovered from Assur and Nineveh and used in Babylonian exorcism rituals, describe individual Gala types with specific domains. Gala associated with fevers. Gala associated with sudden death. Gala associated with the deaths of specific categories of people. The taxonomy is not symbolic. It is clinical. The middle levels, gates 4 and 5, are where the great majority of the dead exist in the conditions Enkidu described to Gilgamesh. The tablets are specific about this. Dust, darkness, the bread that tastes wrong, the water that is bitter, the existence that continues in diminished form, neither fully alive nor fully extinguished. The texts use a specific word for the conditions here, emmu, the ghost state. Not the processing of the outer levels, the permanent residence of the long-term dead. This is where the distinctions the Anunnaki judges make at the moment of arrival become permanent. The man who died in battle with a recovered body, who has 7 sons performing offerings, he has a cushioned seat here and drinks clean water. The man with no heir, whose name is forgotten, who was not properly buried, he eats dry clay. The middle levels are the destination, not a transition, not a processing zone. The place where the Giddim, the shaped, conscious, memory-carrying self, exists for what the tablets describe as an indefinite continuation. The place where the offerings from the living arrive, where the libations poured through the ground filter down and sustain the dead who have descendants performing the rites correctly. The tablets are specific about how the offerings arrive. The libation tubes, reed pipes inserted into the ground at burial sites, described in multiple Sumerian texts, were not symbolic gestures. They were physical delivery mechanisms. The water poured through them reached the level of the dead. The bread broken at the burial feast reached the level of the dead. This is described not as belief, but as a mechanical function of the cosmic architecture. The deepest levels, 6, 7 and beyond Ganzir's innermost wall, are where the tablets become most uncomfortable. The Anunnaki judges of the underworld do not sit at the center of the underworld for no reason. They are at the deepest accessible point of the structure. In Ereshkigal's court, at the throne of the great below. The tablets that describe what is at the very bottom of the underworld, what is below even the permanent residence of the dead, describe a place the Sumerians called the Aral, the abyss, the deep underworld, below the house of the dead. The texts describe it in terms that have no human scale analogy. Dark beyond dark, silent beyond silence, the place where the structural foundation of the cosmos meets the primordial water of Tiamat that predates the creation of the world. The beings who inhabit this deepest level are not the dead. The dead are in the middle levels, maintained by the rights of the living. The beings at the deepest level are the Anunnaki, who never left the underworld, the original 600 assigned to the lower realm at the division of the cosmos. They are there still, according to the tablets, not ruling in any active sense. Present, occupying the deepest stations in the cosmic structure that was assigned to them when Anu took the sky, Enlil took the earth, and Enki took the Abzu. The tablets describing this deepest level use a phrase that appears in several different contexts: the Anunnaki of the earth. Distinct from the Anunnaki of the heavens, their domain is not the sky or the surface, it is the deep earth. Everything below the Kigal, everything below the Apsu. The full downward extent of the cosmic architecture. Now here is where the tablets stop being architecture and become something harder to process. The Sumerians built their cities over this structure deliberately. The temples at the center of every Sumerian city, the ziggurats, the E-temples, were not simply elevated sacred spaces. They were built specifically to connect the levels. The E-Abzu at Eridu connected the surface to the Apsu below. The ziggurat structure, rising above the ground, connected the surface to the heavens above. The Sumerian temple was a vertical axis, a needle through the layers. A structure designed to allow communication between levels that were otherwise sealed from each other. The libation tubes beneath the temple. The foundations of the sacred precinct going into the earth. The ritual practices performed at ground level that were understood to operate simultaneously across multiple levels. These were not symbolic actions. In the Sumerian cosmological framework, they were engineering solutions to the problem of communicating across layers of a sealed universe. The incantation texts recovered from Assur and Nineveh, many of them among the 36 copies of the Era epic, many others from the Serpu and Maklu series, were specifically designed to operate across the levels. Recited at the surface. Directed downward. Intended to reach specific inhabitants of specific levels and affect specific conditions. The Sumerians maintained a continuous ritual infrastructure for communication with what was below. For over 2,000 years, in every major city they built, always with the same architecture, always with the same vertical orientation, always with the same understanding that what was beneath the ground was not empty space, but inhabited territory, organized by level, accessible through specific procedures, responsive to specific kinds of contact from above. There are two ways to hold what the tablets describe. The first is to say that the Sumerian layered underworld is a cosmological myth, a sophisticated ancient framework for explaining death, the water table, geological phenomena, and the anxiety of not knowing what lies beneath the surface. The layers are narrative constructs. The inhabitants are personifications of natural forces. The ritual practices connected the living to these concepts psychologically, not literally. This is a reasonable position. It is the mainstream scholarly position. It explains the framework without requiring any claims about the literal truth of what the tablets describe. But it requires you to explain the specificity. The taxonomy of the gala by type and function. The libation tube engineering, the consistent description of 9 distinct levels across independent texts from multiple sites and multiple centuries. The distinction between the Apsu as a living domain and the Kigal as a structural threshold and the Aral as the primordial deep. These are not the details of a comfort story or a nature allegory. These are the details of a map. The second thing you can do is stand where you are standing right now and consider what the Sumerians believed was below you. The Apsu, Enki's domain, where the sages who carried humanity's original knowledge were withdrawn before the flood, where the subterranean freshwater moves through channels the tablets say were engineered before the first human existed. The Kigal, the compressed boundary of deep earth. The structural seal between the living underground and the realm of the dead. Ganzir, the first gate. Neti at the door. The system that has been processing new arrivals since before the current divine hierarchy existed. The middle levels, where the permanent dead exist in conditions determined by what you left behind when you died, where the offerings are still arriving through the tubes and the ground. And at the bottom, the Aral, the primordial deep, the Anunnaki of the earth in their assigned stations, present since the first division of the cosmos. The Sumerians did not describe this as a place they feared. They described it as a place they knew, that they mapped, that they maintained communication with, that they built their entire ritual infrastructure around for over 2,000 years. They wrote it on clay because clay survives. It survived. You are watching it now. What you do with it from here is the whole story.